Even if one is not able to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master, he can still be drawn to this perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. Karma with an overcoat of devotional service becomes Karma Yoga. This means whatever work one does or one wants to do, one can do that work. All one needs to do is to offer the fruits to the Lord.
So Bhakti Yoga has two words, Bhakti and Yoga. So yoga is a very popular word these days, and oftentimes it is just understood to be a process of just physical bodily postures. But the Sanskrit root of yoga is yujati iti yoga, or that which connects. Connect what to what? Connect us, the jiva, jivatma, to God or Paramatma. So the process of connecting the soul to super soul, or the living entity to God, or jivatma to Paramatma in a proper bond is called as yoga. There are different types of yoga. There's dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, hatha yoga, and bhakti yoga. Now what is bhakti? The second word out of these two. Bhakti represents the path of pure devotion. So Bhakti Yoga would mean the process of connecting or reconnecting, as stated, of the reconnection of the jiva to Shri Krishna or God through the process of service and devotional service. We could connect to different forms, but Bhakti Yoga is considered to be the topmost and fastest by Shri Krishna in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
In Bhakti Yoga, one simply does what Lord wants one to do, without any personal preferences of likes and dislikes. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness, and they require help. So, even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, they can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. One may be engaged in business, but to transform that activity into Krishna consciousness, one has to do business for Krishna. If Krishna is the proprietor of the business, then Krishna should enjoy the profit of the business. If a businessman is in possession of thousands and thousands of dollars, and if he has to offer all this to Krishna, he can do it. This is work for Krishna. Instead of constructing a big building for his sense gratification, he can construct a nice temple for Krishna, and he can install the deity of Krishna and arrange for the deity's service as is outlined in the authorized books of devotional service. This is all Krishna karma. If, however, one is not able to construct a temple for Krishna, one can engage himself in cleansing the temple of Krishna. That is also Krishna karma. One can cultivate a garden. Anyone who has land in India can utilize that for Krishna by growing flowers to offer him. One can sow tulsi plants, because tulsi leaves are very important, and Krishna has recommended this in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna desires that one offer him either a leaf or a flower or fruit or a little water, and by such an offering he is satisfied. This leaf especially refers to the tulsi, so one can sow tulsi and pour water on the plant. Thus, even the poorest man can engage in the service of Krishna. These are some of the examples of how one can engage in working for Krishna.